Hey, welcome back to Car Talks, where I rant, ramble, rave, and word vomit my thoughts on training, life, and fitness. And today, talking a little bit about why new trainees or younger athletes, people with low training age, don't really need to lift all that heavy very often to make strength gains, right? And one of the things that people need to consider: why do new trainees make such large strength gains very quickly? Is most of them don't have very high coordination levels. And I'm not talking about like spatial awareness, but when we look at coordination, when we look at the nervous system and what we call intramuscular coordination, so basically how many muscle fibers can get recruited, new trainees tend to have a very low number. So when you get a new trainee coming in, what they really need is to spend a lot of time working on technique work and being able to work on form. And so as you start to learn a movement, you don't really need to add a whole ton of load, because as you practice a movement, as you learn a new movement, your nervous system adapts and you get these signals from your brain. Obviously, like the nervous system functions, you get signals from your brain that will cause you to fire, like have muscle contractions. And the more you do a movement, especially under loads that you can manage technique to be consistent and the same, what you end up getting is this ability to get these muscle fibers to fire at a more frequent rate, and also to fire in conjunction with each other. And that's huge, especially because you look at a lot of high school kids, you look at a lot of new trainees, and they see big lifts being done by some college kids. They see it being done by power lifters, weightlifters, whatever, you name it. And they start thinking, especially high school coaches, and this is a side tangent, but a lot of them try to apply like college football training programs to their high school football team. It just doesn't work that way. And I think that's one of the things you got to consider, is that new trainees need to build that intramuscular coordination before they build tons of max effort strength. They're going to build a lot of strength just because they're being more efficient. Their body's recruiting more muscle fibers. They're able to move more weight. And because they're just adapting from a nervous system level, and they're not necessarily making huge hypertrophy gains of muscle size, they're just not making those huge gains that way. It's really coming from a brain level and from a nervous system level. So especially if you're a new trainee, you don't really need to lift more than probably like 70%, right? You can work in that 70 to 80% range just fine, and you're going to build up a lot of strength and a lot of coordination just by learning and integrating a new movement pattern. So just something for you to think about. Intramuscular coordination is important. That's why newbies make a lot of gains really quickly. So before you start lifting heavy, focus on the technique and build that coordination up. And until next time, we'll see you in the passenger seat.